All right. Good morning and welcome to your HMG weekly wrap up. How's everybody doing? It is good to be back in the home studio and loving it, loving it, loving it, loving it. So, I take a minute here. We'll get some people on. If you jump on, let me know where you're at. Jump on, say hello. We're doing it a little bit differently today. We got this. We're doing an Instagram live as well, which is a lot different, I'll say. So, but it's good to be back. How's everybody doing this week? If you're on, if you jump on, let me know you're out there. Say hello, where you're at. Give me just a hot second here. I'm going to share this so we can get some more people on here, and then we'll get this show started. Excited about this week. The Pando Commando. Hello, hello, welcome. Thank you for joining. Merry Christmas to you too. Pando Commando. Love the name. Good person behind that brand. Appreciate you jumping on, brother. Hope you're staying warm. How's everybody doing? Who's ready for Christmas? And I think we're gonna have malfunctioning. So I'm just gonna leave it like that. Whatever. Because I know if I don't wear the bow tie, everybody gets upset, and I start getting comments. um, so we had a early Christmas. My family and I we drove back to wife and I drove back to Wisconsin again. Uh, Obviously, this time of year, those of you that have been following me for a while know that this time of year is a lot of travel for me. My annual hunting trip, which was great, and then this year, last week, I was back in Wisconsin for an early Christmas with my family back there. Great to see everybody. Got to spend time with my grandparents. Um, Help my parents kind of get moved into our new cabin up there. Heather, good morning. Thank you for jumping on. Heather 24. Um, and it was good. Not any snow. The weather wasn't too incredibly cold. It's been a pretty mild winter, I would say, thus far. So, Ken, good morning, brother. Over there on Facebook, appreciate you. But it was a good time. I was able to see my siblings, my grandparents, spend time with my parents. I'm both families. Uh, just all around good time. But more importantly, I think, or what I got excited for was little bird came home from college. He's home for about a week, and then he's off doing his stuff again. And then I'll see him next month as he's getting ready to turn 21 next month. So it's been uh, a great Christmas season, I would say, thus far. It can get very stressful for people. And happy holidays, Ryan Hunt. Appreciate you jumping on, brother. Um, how many of you are ready for Christmas? I mean, I mean, you think about it. Like Christmas is Monday, right? It's already here. Like, what happened to this year already? Fast year, I think. Especially the last couple months, I think have gone by really fast. And I think it's just been kind of very interesting with everything that's gone on in the world or what's happening in the world. You kind of, I don't know, we get wrapped up in our own little world. We kind of tend to forget about some of the things that are going on. Whatever. um, Christmas. So, like I said, great Christmas with my family. Now I'm back in the home office here. This week we'll be here for about a month, and then we're getting on the road again and whatnot. So Let's get over with 2023 and get on with 20. Yeah, and we're gonna get into that, Ryan, here in a second. Here, it's kind of funny that you bring that up because I got some of the headlines that we're seeing. 2024. We're gonna go over. I told you guys last week. Those of you that saw the show last week, I was in Wisconsin. I said I kept the show pretty short last week. I didn't go over any headlines, and I said that I was going to do that this week. So as promised, that's what we're going to get into here in just a second. But before we do that, what are some Christmas holiday traditions that you do with your families? Leave some comments as we go on through the show. But what are some Christmas traditions in your family? Um, there's some of the things I absolutely love about this time of year, other than just getting to spend time with your loved ones. Um, is the food. I'm a foodie, and I have a tendency to overindulge a little bit this time of year, and so I get into the um, cookies. Like my sister in law made a bunch of Christmas cookies, and I went overboard with those. So I will definitely be getting back into the gym here very soon. Um, Movies, Christmas movies. I've posted those the last couple weeks. Kind of some of the Christmas movies that we watch, Christmas caroling and songs and stuff like that. But um, this is a great time of year, and those of you that are believers in Jesus, remember it's celebration of Jesus' birthday. Although historically it was probably in July, but this is when we celebrate it. So remember what this season is all about when you go into this weekend. Um, that's all I'll say about that. But I appreciate you guys being here today. So let's get started on some of these headlines here. Because I think I picked out some doozies. All right. So, first one that I found, and I guess you could kind of say that these are all uh, WTF headlines. Really. Study says breathing causes climate change. Breathing causes climate change. 10th Mountain. Thank you for the nice bow tie. Appreciate it. Uh, Breathing causes climate change. This has all been, yeah. A new study from the British journal uh, Polis, PLOS, Polis 1, excuse me, claimed that human breathing causes global warming. Exhaled human breath can contain small, elevated concentrations of methane, or CH4, for all you science guys out there and gals, and nitrous oxide, N2O, both which contribute to global warming. Found that to be somewhat fascinating. Global warming is caused by breathing. Why do I feel like here in the next couple of months we're going to be talking about this again, just in a different context? This has been a weird. If you guys noticed, this year there's been a lot on a lot of environmental issues. If you've been paying very close attention, global warming's been a very big uh, topic. I think this year, especially with all the new green energy things that are going on, and then you're talking about Tesla and car batteries and or the electric vehicles. That's what I'm trying to say. The EVs and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting stuff to see what is all being said. And I think 2024 is really going to be an interesting year. David, thank you, sir. Good morning to you. Appreciate you. Christina, sis, good morning. How are you? Appreciate you. So yeah, now you guys know that breathing causes climate change. You heard it here. So don't take my word for it. Remember, the stuff that I bring to you and present to you during this show. Don't take Adam's word for it. Simply look it up. Take your time. Go look this stuff up. Whatever fascinates you. Next up, This one was interesting. Five gray wolves were released in Colorado this week, and there's plans. Um, the plans Colorado has plans to introduce another 30 to 50 over the course of the next 5 years. A lot of uproar about the wolves being released in Colorado. So, my understanding was these five wolves were taken from northern Oregon and then brought down into Colorado and released in Colorado against a lot of people. A lot of obviously ranchers are concerned, as they should be. But there was, I guess, the mayor or the governor was getting a lot of backlash um, on this. This was not something that environmentalists wanted. There was a lot of people in the National Forest Service and whatnot did not think this was a good idea, and they went ahead and went through it anyway. What are your guys' thoughts on releasing animals into an area that might not normally be there? Give you another example that's happened. And yes, David, the bow tie, I'm having mal malfunction. Oh, there we go. I think I hooked it that time. Um, the state of Wisconsin had released two different herds of elk uh, earlier this year, last year, might have been a couple of years ago. Anyway, one of the elk recently, and I didn't put this on the thing, but I read this yesterday that there was an elk hit just outside of a suburb of Colorado or Chicago. Jeez. There was an elk that was hit by a motorist just outside of Chicago, and it was they recognized the elk from its tag. Um, then it came from one of the herds in Wisconsin up near Black River Falls. That's a long journey for that elk to travel from Black River Falls to Chicago. Those you up there are not familiar with it. It's a few hour drive from Black River Falls to the Chicago suburb area. So it's pretty interesting that they're migrating that far south. But what are your thoughts on putting the wolves into Colorado? I got mixed feelings on it. I understand why, gray wolves, endangered species. Uh, let's introduce them into an area that they could thrive in. But the problem is you got ranchers, and then what do those wolves do then to uh the cattle population, and what do they do to like the elk herd or the deer herd and stuff like that are in those areas then? So how do you manage stuff like that? David, let's see there. Let's put this up. David says, especially if the animals are not usually found there. Okay, interesting, interesting. Good stuff. Hey, Mark, Patriot Pride, brother. Appreciate you jumping on. Camouflage Sisters, good morning. Thank you guys for jumping on. Always good to have the Camouflage Sisters say hello. Appreciate it. So I was really kind of taken back. I was really surprised. And the fact that they're planning on releasing another 30 to 50 wolves into the state of Colorado over the next 5 years, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Hunting laws, how the ranchers are going to take to it, if it affects anything at all. I'm sure it will. It usually does. But it will be interesting to see what happens. Let's go to the next one here. Uh, U.S. Steel sold to Japanese company. The United States Steel Corporation is being sold to Japan's predominant steel maker. Nippon Steel Corporation is purchasing U.S. steel for nearly $15 billion. Now, why is that important, or why did I pick that out? A lot of people think, a lot of people I've been talking to have been saying this is not good for the United States. I kind of disagree respectfully, and here's why. I think with the technology that Japan has, and Japan's pretty big in steel as well. I think you're going to see a lot of new technologies come from this, and a lot of new. I don't know. My gut's telling me that this is going to be all right, and this will be a decent move. Um, on the flip side of that, is it sad to see that we're selling out to other countries? Yes, I would like to see more uh, companies here in the United States manufacturing things here in the United States as opposed to outsourcing things to other countries. My personal opinion, but I get it. It's a checks and balance kind of a thing. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. U.S. Steel company sells to Japan, so yeah, David, American made. I agree. It's yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. But here's the thing, you look at it and like why you ask these companies and these business people like why do we outsource everything overseas is because it's so much cheaper to do it overseas. Well, there's that's a whole nother uh topic for another day, and there's some controversy into why it's so much cheaper elsewhere. Why can't it be cheap here? You got to remember, you look at the history of the world, the United States is still kind of the new kid on the block when you think about it, right? We're kind of a melting pot of just what of, of it's like a giant experiment. The United States is kind of an experiment. What's going on? Everybody else has been doing things for hundreds of years, and the United States is still kind of the new kid on the block. So it's almost like we're trying to find our feet still, if that makes sense. Um, so yeah, that's it. Let me ask you this. Here's the next one. There's been a lot of talk about Netflix lately, and there's a top Netflix children's show features boy in dress dances for two dads. An episode of the popular children's show Chameleon Lane shows a young boy in a tutu dancing for his two dads. The show on Netflix is a top rated children's program. I added this in there because I kind of want to get you guys' thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on kids being exposed to stuff like that? Again, one way or the other. You could say, "Well, it's the real world. This is what we're doing now. We're just exposing kids to this." A lot of people, I think, would be, "Hey, don't expose kids to that kind of thing. It's not appropriate." What are your guys' thoughts on that? Again, look that up. It's a Netflix children's show. A lot of talk have been going around on that. Dan, what's up, brother? Yeah, it needs to stop. It does. It a lot of people have different opinions on it, and I think regardless of the type of uh, lifestyle you live or what your beliefs are, leave kids out of it. That's it. Keep your eye on the bar. All right, next up, this one here, pretty sad. This one here, there was a U.S. homelessness is at an all-time high. The Department of Housing and Urban Development released a report detailing that homelessness across the United States now has increased 12%. Um, on a single night in January, an estimated 650,000 people experienced homelessness. Now, I think that's kind of open ended. Like you have to understand, like, okay, what's the meaning or what's their definition of homelessness? 650,000, that's a lot of people. The number is the highest number of people reported as experiencing homelessness on a single night since reporting began in 2007. Um, Asian American people had the largest increase of homelessness, up 40% from 2022. Okay, well, um, why do we think that is? I'm not one to speculate, but there you're seeing a lot of people coming into the country, undocumented, and you're focusing a lot on like the southern border. So you think, oh, it's people from the south that are doing it. You got people from the far east coming in the southern border and whatnot. So it's it's uh it's not surprising we're seeing more homelessness here in the United States. Okay, let me catch up here. Matthew Farley, yes, absolutely, and thank you for jumping on. Mark, homeless is going to get worse. Yeah, veteran homelessness is one of the. Yeah, David, it's another one. The veteran homelessness. We don't really talk much about it, and we really should. Maybe that's something, David, we need to address more in 2024. Mark Peterson, income has not trended with inflation over the years. I agree with that. And here's the, let's you since you're bringing that up, it's kind of interesting because you're talking about everybody. There was that big push for, hey, we need to bring everybody to a minimum wage up to $15 an hour, and you got to do this, this, and this. The problem when you do that is people don't realize, like, okay, well, that gallon of milk that was $1.50 just went to $5 or 4.50 or whatever. I think milk out here, out east, in some of the areas here is like 4.30 to 4.75. It got expensive. I remember, in 1997, it was you get milk for like a buck 25, a gallon. Excuse me, a gallon of milk for a buck 25, and now it's insane. We want everybody's wages to go up. We think that's the issue, but when it all comes down to it, it's everybody's prices are going up, and they're saying, "Well, everything got more expensive." Is it, or is the companies just adding prices to X, Y, and Z for their profit? A lot of these big companies are tacking on, 1,000% just to make their profit. And I get it. I'm a business guy. I understand it. I don't think it's right. But what's the let's stop going back and forth and let's find a solution. I think the solution is wipe everything clean, start from scratch. Is it too late to do that? I don't know. Oh wow, I love the fact that you guys are on it this morning. Mark Peterson, let's hear. Veterans rule of 72: everything doubles in price every 7 years. That's the first time I've heard that. I didn't know that. Uh, hey, David, appreciate you, man. Merry Christmas, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, you look at it, and I think it's one of those things where, what are you gonna do? We're in a position, um, inflation, inflation, inflation. Everything's going up, and eventually there's gonna be a crash. And when it happens, it's not gonna be pretty, unfortunately. Just my thought. And do I think this crash is gonna happen in 2024? I think 2024 is going to be a very interesting year. They're already talking about, a pandemic too, and this and that. Now, why do you think they're talking about that? Could it be that there's an election coming up next year? Could the powers that be want X, Y, and Z? And I'll talk a little bit about it next week, getting into our new year uh, show, what to look for. So we're not going to talk about that today, but yeah, it's crazy what's going on. Um, all right, last one. This is the last headline that I picked, and I'm gonna warn you. It's graphic. Okay, um, very graphic. I think Senator Ben Cardin from he's a Democrat in Maryland, was angry after staffer appeared in gay sex tape in Senate hearing room. Says he won't comment on personal issues. What are they doing down in the Senate hearing room? Apparently, they're filming things that they shouldn't be filming. Uh, Senator said on Monday that he was angry after his now former staffer was identified as a subject of a hardcore gay pornography film on the Senate hearing room, or in the Senate hearing room, and told reporters he would not comment on personal issues. That's it. Jokes write themselves, folks. There's so many to that it's just, you couldn't believe on the Senate hearing. Yeah, people are, yeah. Anyway. moving on. We have some exciting things coming up for 2024. Um, in the process of me traveling last week, Mark, I'll get Mark. You're right. Everyone uh should be canned. Tighten it up. I'm gonna try to. They should, yeah, tighten it up. Uh, I think everybody in our government, our government. I'll say this real quick, and then I'm going to move on. The government stuff that you go on, you look at it. More than 51% of the jobs here in the United States are related to the government, whether it's city, state, federal. Um, it's just it's not gonna you're not gonna get rid of government stuff. It's just there. Mark, Merry Christmas, brother. So 2024 needs to be a change. I'll go more into that in next week's show for the New Year show. But I will say this: in my travels, some of the good things that have happened last week, spending time with my parents. Speaking of my parents, Pop, good morning. My Pop's watching, love it. Um, and Mom, we got new shows. We got some new shows coming up right now. Free the People by the People from my buddy AJ Richards. If you're not familiar with him, go to Free the People by the People on Instagram, or just look up AJ Richards on Instagram. 100,000 followers. He's doing a lot of stuff in the meat industry out in Southern Utah. Happy to have him back. He's had several shows on the HMG platform in the past, and just an all-around good guy. New show coming in January called Every Man's Odyssey. Was got in touch with or was reached out by a former friend of mine that I served with, and she tells me, "Hey, Bird, I need you to get a hold of this kid and check out his show. He's a new podcaster." So Every Man's Odyssey. Stay tuned. We got more things coming there. So excited about that. A lot of new stuff. And listen, let me put this out there. If you are a podcaster yourself, or you're looking to start a podcast, or maybe you know a business, or you're somebody that wants to start a podcast, send them our direction. It's what we do. I've been doing podcasting now since 2012, and created two. This is the second company I've created around podcasting. We've been doing it pretty well. I would say we're 8 years under this brand, and we'd love to help you out. And we are a full blown agency. At this point, we do hosting, we do audio and video editing. We can set up your home studios now. We got a lot of new services that we're offering in 2024 that we haven't offered in the past, that we're excited about, as well as authors. If you are a author and you have a manuscript that you're looking to get published, or you have a book that's done and you want to turn it into an audiobook, it's something we specialize in. Just get a hold of us. You can email us at info@heroesmediagroup.com. What do we have here? We got a couple more people on Instagram. We're live on Instagram for the first time. I've got people jumping in. So thank you guys for jumping in over on Instagram there. Appreciate it. Mark Peterson, what do we got here? Said we got your 6 at 6. Hey, no show this week, man. Understandable, Mark. But we appreciate you, brother. God bless you. Everybody over at the People's Patriot Project. If you're not following them, you need to be. All right, listen. Let's get into the shows. So I can get you guys about your way and have a Merry Christmas weekend. Some of the shows this week, straight fire. Love these. First up, we got the John Mayo podcast. This week, we explore how you can redefine your life's journey by questioning the traditional notion of working towards a finish line. What happens when you take away that finish line? How does it look? Where do you go? Are you still on the same path? Do things change? It's a pretty interesting topic this week, so check it out. It's John Mayo podcast. And don't forget, folks, all the podcasts that I'm talking about today for that did shows this week, you can find all of the shows at Heroes Media Group. Simply go to heroesmediagroup.com. Next up, we got the Hero Academy podcast with our man, Super Dave. This week, from SWAT to author, Matthew Thomas. We'll talk about his journey. He is a seasoned author behind Interceptors, sharing an engrossing narrative. It's a glimpse into the trials and triumphs of law enforcement and the allure of the diverse locals and the involving landscapes of storytelling. Matthew Thomas's revelations blend with casual banter. Podcast unveils a tale of resilience, camaraderie, and the quest for broader connections through literature. Good episode. Liked it. Check it out. It's the Hero Academy with your man, Super Dave. All right, next up, our man, Jerry. From Beyond the Rut this week, transform your life with authenticity and aligned choices, featuring guest Scott Matter. Discover how Scott challenges individuals to live authentically and make choices aligned with their values. And despite the challenges in the fast-paced world that we live in, that we certainly do, don't we? But this week, some of the things that they're going to talk about in this particular episode this week is aligning faith, family, and career fulfilling life, mastering time, money, and a balanced lifestyle. And then, of course, living authentically and making aligned choices for your life. Great episode this week, Beyond the Rut. Check it out. Next up, we got Label Free Podcast. This week, Angel Petrot, a French learning coach, online entrepreneur, and podcaster. Angel shares his journey building a successful business and living a life of his own terms. He explains the approach of teaching French and helping his clients become more fluent in that language. So, if you've ever been interested in learning how to speak French, go check this out. Label Free Podcast. Other Side of the Firewall. Love these guys. It's one of those shows, again, you want to learn about tech, this is the show you need to be following. They do a show every day, Monday through Friday. And some of the episodes this week, Tuesday's episode, the U.S. Nuclear Research Lab data breach. Great way to start your Christmas holiday, right? Nuclear Research Lab has a data breach. Celebrating the ABCs of cybersecurity. And then terrifying infrastructure hacks. These are all great episodes. They're easily consumable. Check it out. It's called The Other Side of the Firewall. Next up, Pushing Back Chaos. This week, evaluating and overcoming our stressors. This is a great episode. Mike and Melon rap about some of their own stressors that they're dealing with currently right now and how they deal with them. And I love this episode. Mike does a deep dive and shotguns Melon with just a slew of questions, and it's really cool the banter back and forth and the answers that they give to some of these questions. Now, what are some of the questions that they asked in this episode? You're gonna have to find out. Take a listen to it. It's called Pushing Back Chaos. You're gonna love it. Next up. What do we got next? Because Bikers Matter podcast this week. Stephen Kemper and Michael Fustel. Hope I said that right. Both Marine veterans, and the president and vice president of Red Glare Bullet Creations. Listen up. This, if you need Christmas ideas or stocking stuffers still, pay attention. The conversation revolves around their military service and how it led them to start their own company, creating jewelry and accessories out of bullet casings. They have an Etsy shop, and you can use promo code Freedom 10 for 10% off. And I'll post the link. Actually, you know what? I can now do that. I can multitask. I'm going to post the link right here. If it lets me there. Check that out. Freedom 10 for 10% off. This company, the Red Glare Bullet Creations, the stuff that they create is absolutely stunning. It's amazing. I absolutely love it. I'm all about it. We're gonna be we've ordered some stuff. Great veteran owned company doing some really cool stuff. So check it out. Ken style, my left lane campers. Ken, I hate it when I'm driving, especially long distance when people camp in the left lane. It's a peeve. That's for sure. Safe driving. Um, so check that out. That's Because Bikers Matter podcast. Again, the company that they're talking about this week's episode is Red Glare Bullet Creations. Go check it out. Just the jewelry that they're making is fantastic, and it's a veteran owned company. So get a chance to you want to support a veteran owned company. Go check them out. Excuse me. All right, next up, we got the Misfit Nation podcast, exploring life's transitions with Phyllis Levitt. Art, nature, and the journey of writing. This week, Phyllis is a passionate lover of art, nature, and gardening. Her journey is one of evolution, marked with a career in psychotherapy and devotion to family, and now a dedicated pursuit of writing. This is pretty interesting episode. I like this one. Go check it out. It's called the Misfit Nation podcast. All right, what do we got over here? Instagram is lighting up. I love this. Thank you guys for joining. Yeah, they do got some cool stuff. I love it. Let me see here. All right, next up, we got a couple more. Stay with me, folks, and then we might have a deal at the end, so stay with me. Next up, we got the MSEC podcast with our friends over at Military Child Education Coalition. No matter what holiday you and your loved ones celebrate, whether it's Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, whatever, this time of year can bring about high levels of stress. Ain't that the truth? But this week, Raleigh Sampson shares tips for stress management during the holidays while finding joy in the season. Check it out. It's the MSEC podcast. That is Military Child Education Coalition. And for those of you out there who are active duty, Guard, Reserve, first off, thank you. And if you're veterans, thank you. If you got kids that are at home in grade school, this organization, Military Child Education Coalition, is a nonprofit organization. They have a slew of resources for you. Go check them out. All right, what do we got next? Next up, we got the Arms Room. This week, they're going over their unfinished episodes from the past year. I love it when they do these shows. So go check it out. It's the Arms Room Show. Love it. Every Monday, 2 p.m. Arizona Mountain Time. They got a new episode that comes out. What do we got here? Pop, where's your buck? I haven't hung it up yet. My pop's asking me where my buck. I shot my buck this year. Those of you haven't hung it yet, we're hanging it later today. And it's going to go right back, right about in there somewhere, Pop. All right. Back to the shows. Next up, we got Chasing Happiness. This week, we're deep diving into the power of commitment with special guest David Wood. This week, this is what they explore on the show this week. Ryan does a great job. I love this show. The transformative power of commitment in personal and professional life. How to overcome fear of commitment and embrace change. Take notes on that one. And then strategies to stay committed to your goals, even when the going gets tough. This is a great episode. Check it out. It's called Chasing Happiness. All right, next up we got the Joel Evans Show this week. Ulrich Dumfley from Carol Bike jumps on the podcast for round 2. So he's back for round 2. And if you haven't heard round 1, it was awesome. But this one is even better. If you want to know the fastest way to get fit, it's simple. It's rehit. It's reduced exertion, high intensity interval training. More and more research is showing simply 2 explosive 20-second sprints in a 10-minute time frame 3 times a week can dramatically improve your cardiovascular health, your metabolism, and your VO2 max. I'm going to test this out. I'm challenging myself, and I challenge any of you out there watching this to test this out in 2024. This is going to be great. Now, mind you guys, after this live here, we'll be coming back on within the next hour. You'll be able to come back on in the comments. You'll see all these shows with the links so you can listen to them directly. Or if you go to heroesmediagroup.com right now, you can check out the shows there online. So that's it for the show. I need to give some shout outs here real quick. My tax fella, one of our sponsors and great friend, Anthony Mariello. It's getting time for tax season. If you need help with your taxes, or if you're a small business, listen, you small business people out there, one of the things that I am horrible at, I hate doing bookkeeping. I don't like it. And I recognize that fairly early on in my career. So I went out and got somebody that does it and does it right. And Anthony's been doing books for all my businesses for the last nearly a decade. Absolutely love it. Go to mytaxfella.com and check it out. Let me see here. What else? JB Auto Clothiers. This is a company near and dear to my heart. I'm a part of this company. We got a lot of good things coming in 2024. Custom shirts. We're going to be doing custom ties and bow ties in 2024. Go to JB. It's veteran owned. James Boggs, good dear friend of mine. He's the mastermind behind this. You want to look good, feel good. We do custom made to measure suits for you. Custom. And there's a lot that you can do. It gets overwhelming at sometimes. Beautiful suits, and they're made here in America. The shirts made in America, the ties made in America. Everything that we do is made right here in the good old US of A. Check it out. Go to jbautoclothiers.com. Alibi Tattoo. We were there yesterday, and I didn't even think about taking a picture with my man Poke and Barry. The guys down there, Alibi Tattoo, appreciate those guys, love it. Forget Genetics, my other friend Barry, veteran-owned business for all you deer hunters, or if you just like having woodland animals and creatures in your yard. Go to forgetgenetics.com and get some of their products today. Check them out. Gotta Hold Brewing, motorcycle safety lawyers, the Freedom People. New show coming out next week, and we'll have some stuff for you in 2024. So check them out and welcome them aboard. Absolutely love them. The Freedom People, go check them out. freedompeople.org. Sisu Stamina by the Universal Learning Approach. If you go to Universal Learning Approach, or excuse me, ulauniverse.com, and try their products, you go to use promo code HEROES10. They're going to give you 10% off. Check it out. Let me see here. Jim Neary's Bait and Tackle. Absolutely love those guys. Warriors on the Water. Thank you. And then Ops Lens, new media company that we're working with. They're based out of Florida. Love those guys down there. Thank you guys. What else? HMG Beverage. Check it out. We got coffee. We got some new stuff coming and some new news coming February 2024. So we're excited. We appreciate all of the sponsors. If you would like to sponsor Heroes Media Group, just reach out to us. Send us a DM on one of the social platforms, or you can email us at info@heroesmediagroup.com. And in the subject line, just put sponsor, and we'll check it out. So what do we have here? Yeah. Listen, guys, thank you guys for joining this morning. This has been a great show. I appreciate all the comments and whatnot. Those of you over on Instagram, I appreciate you jumping on. This is the first time we've been live on Instagram, so thank you. Appreciate it. This weekend, I got a favor to ask you guys. This time of year can be stressful. Maybe you haven't talked to that friend or that battle buddy in quite a while. Call your battle buddies. Merry Christmas, Ken. Appreciate you, brother. Call your battle buddies, shoot them a text, let them know that you're thinking of them. Check in with them, see how everybody's doing. Find the person or reach out to the people that you haven't talked to uh, in a while. Let them know that you're there. Let them know that you still care, and spend time with your loved ones this weekend. With that being said, I'm going to sign off by saying this. Merry Christmas to all of you. God bless you. God bless America. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.